Hey, here we are. Day 3, interview number 2 of the Joypreneur Summit. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm so happy that we are here and going live, and you're here too, and we're going to have some fun. So I've got so much to cover. Let me first of all say that the interviews have been so amazing so far in this summit, aren't they? And the next one is not going to disappoint. It's right in line with all of it. I can't wait to talk to Mary Marshall, and we are going to get to Mary in just a second because she's going to help with mindset and weight loss and thinking about weight in a different way, thinking about how you view your body in a different way. For those of you that have been watching this summit and thinking, these people are really cool. And what is it that they're all up to? How did you get such a cool sandbox with all these cool different people in it? And I just feel so blessed to know them all. And you're right. When you come into the Positive Mindset Entrepreneurs Club, you get to meet all of these people doing incredible things in the world. You get to share ideas. You get to share your experiences and your stories and your tips and techniques. And we all have one thing in common. We lead with mindset. We build our businesses knowing that the most important thing is to feel good, and you don't have to be alone and do it on your own anymore. And now, as an extra bonus, when you sign up for the Positive Mindset Entrepreneurs Club, I will send you this pen of expectation in the mail. And yes, we ship worldwide. This is the pen of expectation. Everything you write with it will come true. If you're already in the club and saying, hey, I want one of those, make sure to check my latest post in the club and I'll tell you how you can get one too. So right now, I want to make sure that you also know that in addition to the link to the Positive Mindset Entrepreneurs Club, there's also a link in the description that will tell you how to get all of the freebies from all of our summit guests. Mary's got a freebie for us that I'm going to tell you about in a minute, and you're going to get her freebie as well as all of the other people in the summit, as well as all of our sponsors. So you definitely want to look for that link in the description and sign up so that you can grab all those goodies. All right. I'm telling you, I can't even believe it's like, what are we talking? Over 40 free gifts, and you can pick and choose. Obviously you may not resonate with all of them, but I'm going to tell you something. There's a lot of good stuff in there, including people who are sending stuff to you actually in the mail for free. Holy free holies. What do you mean? Well, I'm going to tell you, it is such a pleasure to introduce Mary Marshall. Mary Marshall is helping her clients with weight loss, but she's doing it from a different way. She's helping to foster hope, positive expectations, confidence, building a peaceful relationship with food, and really understanding how to make great decisions. We're going to hear all about it. We're going to dig right in right now. Please welcome Mary Marshall to the interview. Yay, the crowd goes wild.
Hello.
Hi,
Hi,
Mary.
Dana.
I'm so happy that you're here. Everybody, thank you for saying hi in the chat. That's so nice. I love it. So, Mary, let's start talking first of all, because you've been in the Train Your Brain Sandbox for quite a while. And I know that mindset is very important to you. And so I'm wondering, has it always been, or did you have a journey yourself? Like, how is it that you came to fall into the mindset world, and where did that start? Was there like a before and after picture, I guess is what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah, I think I probably always had a bit of a tendency, to be interested in the power of our mind. Being a nurse, and just seeing that in action in healthcare, that was always, something that, people are like, yeah, we've got all the bells and whistles, but sometimes people have so much more control than Um, and I taught yoga, so that sort of, you know, I always sort of got into that mind body connection. But I also, on the other hand, was raised with a very um, I've heard it called like foreboding joy sort of mindset. Like, don't expect good things, don't take them for granted, be very grateful for them. Like, oh, I'll be there with bells on, Lord willing and the creek don't rise, kind of thing.
Right, right.
So, and that, when I started my own business, that got in the way. And so I, kind of just like with going from healthcare to informed healthcare and my health coaching business, and then kind of getting into weight loss, I just kept seeing this undeniable connection between our minds and our thoughts and our outcomes.
Yeah, you said something that really made me think of how some entrepreneurs are building their businesses, and it feels like maybe you came into it this way too. It's like this idea, and many of us are given this message, but it's almost this idea of don't dream too big, don't hope for too much, because you never know. You might not get. What'd you say?
You got to grind it out, work
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, and you may not get what you want anyway, and so just don't get your hopes up because you don't want to be
Yeah.
disappointed. And so when that's kind of running in the background as you're building your business, it makes it more challenging. Like, did you find you had to quiet that voice, or did you have any experience with that as well?
Yeah. Well, it's exhausting doing. For one, it just sort of sucks the joy out of it. And, I think I was kind of kept searching and, like searching for new things to do, new things to try. I mean, it's what we all do when we're pursuing something.
Yeah.
And then I found you.
Yay!
And truly, it just, and I, like I said, I'd always kind of known of and been intrigued by and believed in the connection of the power of our mind. But I think you really helped me in the club, just kind of find ways to put that into practice in a more routine way, to where now I realize, like, feeling good first, and there's like creating your expectations, and um, that just that shift makes it so much more fun and makes things happen much more easily.
Yeah.
And I can
Yeah.
let myself feel hopeful and expect good things. And I especially love, like, I have no idea how this is going to work out, but somehow I believe that it all will, right? Like, that's a very freeing frame of mind to work from when you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah, freeing is the right word. And thank you for that shout out. I feel really honored that and humbled that you said that. And it feels like, so many people in the club, we've kind of all been banging around on our own, and we kind of always kind of had a sense that mindset was important. But now when we're together, it just feels so much more powerful. And so now I know you are taking this into the health and weight loss realm. And I love that you're coming from the perspective of being a nurse and having that background. And now, as you go into your business, what got you to start that particular business after the nursing job, after doing the yoga? What got you into your specific business that you're in now?
Yeah. In my nursing job, I had a great gig. It was health and wellness, right? And I was a fitness instructor, so that was just like a great thing. So I was that nurse at the grocery store, going to the health fairs, and doing all the things, coaching a lot of people. But and kind of in seeing that, I was seeing, and just through healthcare in general, kind of seeing we're not getting, we're not addressing all the right problems, right? If this is the best we have to offer people, something's not right. And then I found a company that I am affiliated with. It's called Wellness Forum Health, where I learned to practice informed healthcare decision making. And then I got trained to be able to help other people do that. And I also started kind of coaching some weight loss groups there with them. And I was seeing, again, this just isn't quite working. So I started researching and learning more and kind of finding, there's some truths that we don't know of in the weight loss and healthcare, or in the weight loss industry. And, I learned about that and I'm like, okay, this is a different approach. And
Well,
then I learned about, yeah,
I, w- I want to hear about those truths. I want to hear about those truths. Before you get into them, can you talk a little bit about the stigma or bias when it comes to weight?
yeah. Oh my gosh, this is weight stigma or weight bias is kind of exactly what it sounds like. It's our, negative beliefs that may or may, that usually are not true, based on, someone's size, someone's weight. And weight bias and weight stigma is, like, the research is clear that this is really, what's the word? It's everywhere,
Yeah.
in our society. And in fact, it's even most present in practitioners who help people with weight loss.
Wow. Wow, that's
Yeah.
interesting. That's very interesting.
And I just want to say one more thing about weight stigma and weight bias. It really is shown, and it may be the thing that when everybody says, oh, but being, of high weight is bad for your health, it's bad for your health. A lot of those studies that show that don't control for weight bias, where it's clearly shown that weight bias affects health in a negative way. So it may be the weight bias.
Boom. Yeah, yeah. It's not the
Mhm.
weight, it's the feeling bad about the weight. It's the feeling shame about the weight. It's the
Yes.
negative feelings that are produced from the
This,
stigma and the bias. And don't get me started on this because I know exactly what you're
mhm.
talking about. And I mean the good news is on the brighter side, since this is a positive mindset show, the brighter side is I do think that people are starting to name it. In the past, you know things have
Mhm.
kind of we've broken through, whether it be with racism or sexism. We're finally starting to talk about those things that are institutionalized, systematized, and I think now we're starting to get there too. Nope, it was always okay to fat shame, that for example, but now
Yeah,
people are
it's
starting to name it, and so
right.
we're making progress, which is good. Now, you mentioned that in this program that you have a few truths. Can you share those truths with us?
Um, Really, one of the big truths is, like, that I just mentioned, that I just talked about, that it's that yes, there is some effect of weight on health, but it's not nearly as huge as is believed.
Yeah.
Between weight stigma or discrimination and then weight cycling, which is what
Yeah.
happens because of the weight stigma and discrimination, right?
Yeah.
Gain, lose, gain. That has very negative consequences for health. It's actually worse to weight cycle than it is to be at a stable weight, even if it's a higher weight. Um,
Very,
so,
very interesting. That's really, I
mhm.
appreciate that. And so tell me the difference between loving your body and self-compassion, because I'll tell you, I have often said, just fall in love with your body or love your body. And I mean, you know, it's easy to say that, but I'm glad that you're here to say kind of the counter argument for that and talk
Right,
about self-compassion. So do
right.
share, like I'm all ears. I
Yes.
want to learn too.
Yeah. And, it's well intentioned, say the body positivity movement, if you will. But when you have been taught and you've been raised and live in what we call diet culture, right? Where, thin is attractive, thin is sexy. You can't be healthy unless you're thin, right? Of course, if your body's bigger, it's very natural for you to feel shamed about it, or at the very least feel unhappy with it, right? So try to tell somebody who is really dealing with that sincerely, say, oh, just love your body. You know, they're going to say that, but like we say in mindset work all the time, if you're not really buying it, your brain is calling BS. and it's not going to help you. And it's actually
Yeah.
going to undermine you, because all that little like, yeah, but that's in
Yeah.
your head about, yeah, but, look at what they say about being fat, or look at what they say about being of high weight. That's what kind of your brain focuses on. What
Yeah.
comes after the but.
Yeah, and it's well-meaning people in your life too who are buying the stories that everybody's saying about health and this. So what I hear you saying then, and I would love for you to expound on this, is that mindset is almost like absolutely required and primary if you want to start moving into having a better relationship with your body. Like it feels to me like what we're doing in the Positive Mindset Entrepreneurs Club is we're leading with mindset for building a business. And it sounds to me like you're saying the same thing also
Right.
relates to developing a better relationship with food and with your body, right?
With all of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I work across, teaching people a kind of a concept of body neutrality, right? Versus body positivity, and
Nice.
intuitive eating, and learning to coach yourself, and in all of it, and in diet truths, right? The real science about diet and weight loss, and weight and health. And in all of it, like in all of it is mindset, right? Like it's like the weave, it's what weaves it all together and makes it happen. And you can have mindsets about all kinds of that stuff, all of that stuff, right? You can have different beliefs and things, ways you think about it. But so we kind of just work on that throughout the whole program that we do.
So it sounds to me like, to be clear for anybody who's new to this kind of thinking, when we're talking about mindset, it sounds to me that we're totally simpatico on this message, in that it's really about listening to your thoughts and identifying which thoughts are helping you and which thoughts are hurting you, and choosing the more positive thought. Am I right? Is that what you mean when you say mindset too?
Yes, and recognizing, when your thoughts are getting in your way. So,
Yeah.
and awareness, challenge, shift those thoughts
Yeah.
around any of those things, and that's what really gets. It's really, as I've kind of taken people through my program. What's really fun is like we're talking a lot about food and eating and those kinds of things, but it blends in, it bleeds into everything, right? Becoming that awareness, that attunement, right? They start being attuned about exercise or rest, or needing
Water.
companionship, any of those things.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happens, I notice too in the club. For those who come in and they start training their brain and they start learning these principles, they'll be like, "Is it normal for my relationship to get better?" Because what happens is we start busting ourselves on all of our stories. Once you get it,
Mhm.
once you start really like drink the Kool-Aid and get that, like, okay, this is really important. Like the way we think is the primary most important thing. You see it everywhere. You see it in
Yeah.
everything that you think about all day. So I want to get into a little bit about your mindset practices, but before we do, I know everyone will bust me if I don't ask you about intuitive eating and what you mean by that. What is intuitive eating?
Oh, thank you for asking. Because I do that. That is a kind of a cornerstone of what I teach people. It's reconnecting with your own internal signals for hunger, fullness, satisfaction, and yes, satisfaction. Like, is what you're eating satisfying you? And it's not about like, oh, I just eat whatever I want. It's really about tuning into your needs, and as opposed to accepting external restriction or deprivation imposed by somebody else's rules. Which, if you've been riding that weight loss roller coaster, your whole life, that's what you've done. You've gotten your body's kind of, its signals are much quieter because you've been ignoring it for so long. So we practice and kind of, that's what we do throughout the whole program, is you practice catching those signals and honoring them.
Do you know what's so good about this? Because as somebody who has definitely been a stress eater and, continues to have to like bust myself on that, what's so good about what you teach, or this idea, is that eating is so integral to our day-to-day existence that if you can start tuning in about, how do I really feel about this? What is, is this some story from the outside, or is this something that I'm really feeling from the inside? Like, understanding being satiated, understanding motivation, understanding your emotional state, all that. It feels like what a wonderful practice for actually getting good at it in every area of your life, because you'd have to do it so regularly, because we all have to eat to live, that it's really, it reminds me a little bit of the parallel about building a business. One of the challenges we all have, and part of the reason we're together in the club, is knowing which things we're doing because we really love to do them, and which things we're doing because everybody says you have to do it that way or you can't build a business. So
Yeah.
so it's really very similar, but with eating, it's such a part of our day-to-day life. I could see where it benefits you, in so many other areas of your life. Oh, please go ahead, Mary.
So no, I was just, in a way, you also reconnect with the pleasure of eating, which, when that bleeds over into everything else too, right? And,
Right.
and we have to eat to survive. So anything we must do to survive, it's designed to be pleasurable for us. It shouldn't cause us stress and anxiety and, be fraught with fear or shame.
Yeah,
So,
what a concept. You know, what a
no,
concept. I mean, this is it. Sometimes it feels like what we're talking about is so radical, like, hey, how about let's be happy? It's never a radical idea. It's really you're deprogramming yourself from everything you hear from the culture so often.
exactly.
And so, yeah, that's
And
really
coming
good
back
stuff.
to how you were designed to be.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I just really am enjoying this. And of course, we could go on and on. I know before we say goodbye, I would really love to hear your best tips for getting on track with mindset. Like if you could tell people, like, just start doing this, or if you have a daily habit or a daily practice that you do, like what helps you stay in alignment on a day-to-day basis?
This is such a hard question, Dana, because there's so many things. But
Right.
I think the thing that has been most helpful to me, is the feel good first principle. And I really like that, has just been, like I said, it's just been so helpful to me, because if I'm like, to do something, or I find myself procrastinating, that's not because I'm lazy or a bum. It's because, like, I'm just not, I don't have the energy for it, or I need to. And when I can kind of stop and make myself just have more energy, feel better, then I'm like, oh, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
I was
Then try
I
to
had
hold you back.
I had my newsletter that needed to write, and I got nothing. I got nothing. I'm like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And I just kept saying, it'll come. It'll come. And sure enough, I was like, oh, I'm ready. I kind of just had to take some time, relax, do some other stuff, and then it came quite easily.
Yeah, I love it because that's when you're using your best brain. It's so good, Mary. For those of you that are new to this, Mary's talking about intentional action. Feel good first, then take action. It's one of our cornerstones in the club because guess what? how can you come up with a brilliant idea for your newsletter when your brain is like shrinking down from because you're feeling frustrated or overwhelmed or stressed? But you go for that walk, you watch the cat videos, you feel good, you take a dance, you start to feel better, and you open up those creative, and then boom, inspiration hits you. Like, I really
It's,
appreciate that you mentioned the feel good first, because seriously, it's so primary, isn't it, in getting
it
stuff
is
done and being
very
more
powerful.
productive. Yeah,
Yes, it's very powerful. I
I
love it.
love it. I love it. I love it. Well, good. Do you have any parting advice or any other thing you want to say before we say goodbye, Mary?
I would say if someone new is here and considering joining the club, it's it's a great tool. It's not even a tool. It's just such a great resource to have at your fingertips. And if you are someone who is like beating yourself up about your weight or feeling bad about that, you know that you're not broken. You know, your body's responding to repeated attempts at weight loss, to restriction, to where it's designed to be, to all sorts of things. So it's you aren't the problem, right? So just kind of give yourself that compassion and that just that give yourself that compassion to feel good
Yeah.
about yourself. It's okay.
I love that so much. What a big old feel good. Thank you so much, Mary. How good was that, everybody? I mean, it was just so many nuggets in there. I'd love for you to put your favorite nugget in the thread. Oh my gosh. I just enjoyed that so much. And I know you did too. And I know you're going to want to connect with Mary. And so here's the thing to do. Mary has a bi-weekly newsletter and so much mindset stuff, so much coaching stuff, so much stuff about food and eating and the culture and all of that. You want to get signed up, and you can find the link by looking in the description. When you look in the description, you're going to see a way to not only get her freebie, but freebies from everybody that's in the summit, including all of our sponsors, not just the people we're interviewed. So people like Arthur Baker from Oregano Coffee and Cocoa. Oh my gosh, cocoa could be good for you. You check it out. And especially if you're eating intuitively, go check it out. And remember that if you want to be in the club, hanging out with these people, asking questions, understand what it means to take intentional action in your business and grow faster because you're feeling good first, know that when you sign up for the club right now, again, the link is in the description. I will send you this pen in the mail. This is the pen of expectation. Anything you write with it will come true. And yes, we do ship worldwide. Hey, favorite mantra from Mary: I'm strong, fit, resilient, and well. I'm great. All will be well. Oh, so good. All will be well. Isn't that just make you feel good just to say that? I just love it. More and more coming up. I know you're enjoying this as much as I am. Wait. Next, we've got Rifna St. John. They are a weirdling and dragon tinker. What? What's a dragon tinker? What's a chaos dragon? Rifna is non-binary reality hacker, DIY nerd, game enthusiast, celebrating creativity, curiosity, joyful expression in every adventure. You are going to enjoy meeting Rifna, and they are up next. We're starting at the top of the hour, so we're looking at 32 minutes coming up. I will see you back here for the Joypreneur Summit. Yay! Share it with your friends. Tell everybody. We got a full day ahead of us. We'll see you soon.